You won't believe this, but if there is one thing that made me a lot of money as a freelancer, it is being able to speak in English confidently. So it doesn't matter who you are, if you are looking for a high paying job, if you are looking for high paying clients as a freelancer, or if you want to build and scale your business globally, you must improve your English speaking skills. Now, you might be struggling with English right now, but you won't be struggling after watching this video. You see, I went to my college in 2016. I was very thin, underconfident and skinny guy with no English speaking skills whatsoever. I had teachers to impress, school friends to make and events to attend, but I was always ignorant of this fact and I just used to sit in my hostel room and I always focused on making money as a freelancer. But then something very weird started to happening. As soon as I used to get on calls with people and when I used to try to sell my services to them, they were very confident in the work that I was doing, but they were very uncomfortable talking to me because they couldn't understand anything that I was speaking in my broken English. And when this incident happened with me multiple times, I just got irritated and I was like, there is something that I need to change about it. And then I started taking English seriously. I started learning this skill so I'm able to do my business properly. And fast forward 3 years, I'm recording videos like these in English like it is a piece of cake. Well, you can too. Here are 5 simple steps that you need to follow if you really want to improve your English speaking skills and grab all the opportunities around you. Step number 1 is cut the shame. See, I see a lot of people who are just ashamed of not being able to speak in English. And you need to realize this, that there is nothing wrong if you don't know how to speak in English. It's just the media, social media and Hollywood and the business world in general who has made you believe that if you do not speak in English, maybe you are not intelligent enough or you're not brave enough or you're not confident enough. But it is not true. It doesn't matter what language you speak. You should not just feel ashamed of not speaking any other language, right? If you go outside the world, if you go to Europe, Spanish people don't speak in English properly, okay? And even if they do, they speak broken English, but they're very confident in the Spanish language that they use to communicate in the world. So you need to realize this, that if you always feel shameful for not speaking in English, you will never be able to change the course of your life. You need to accept that you are not good at speaking in English. There is nothing to be ashamed about it. And once you accept your incompetency in this language, then only you will be able to start your journey of improving in this language. So start by cutting the shame. Step number 2 is learn to speak your mind, not to sound cool. I talk to at least 2 teenagers every day, even though they don't know English properly, even though their vocabulary and grammar are not on point, they use fake accent to cover their lack of competency in English. And you need to be aware of this, okay? If you're learning English to just sound cool in social circles, that is probably the worst reason of learning English. If you're learning English, you should learn it to be able to speak your mind out clearly, to be able to explain the concepts that are in your head to the world in the clear way, to be able to express your feelings to the world, not to sound cool. There is a big difference. Step number 3 is skin in the game. See, it doesn't matter how many books you read, it doesn't matter how many videos you watch on speaking in English like this. If you don't get your skin in the game, if you do not go out in the world and talk to people, make conversations in English language, it is impossible for you to improve in English. So you need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to go out in your college, maybe get out in your hometown and find people that you can talk with in English language. And I know it's not as easy as it sounds, but this is the only way, okay? This is the uncomfortable way and this is the only way. You need to get your skin in the game. You cannot just read English books and get really good at speaking in English. You need to talk to real people. You need practical experience of speaking English so your mind get comfortable with this language. And only if you do this, you will be able to speak this language in professional setting comfortably with confidence. So get your skin in the game starting today. Step number 4, and probably the most important one, you need to consume and produce in English. See, if you come from a tier 3 city like me, you will realize that throughout your childhood, you have never consumed anything in English. You know, your parents used to speak in Hindi, your schoolmates and friends used to speak in Hindi, the TV series, the content that you were consuming on your televisions were in Hindi. So it's very natural that you don't speak in English, okay? And so you need to change this. You need to start consuming content in English. You need to read books in English. you need to read articles in English, you need to watch TV series that are in English language. But this is only the first part and the first block of this step. Once you start consuming content in English, you need to also produce in English. Now, this production can come in various ways. You could create videos and post them online on Instagram or YouTube. If you don't want to record videos, you could write in English and you can post on LinkedIn or Twitter. And if you're somebody who just do not want to create content, you should do it for yourself. Sit down in the morning, take a piece of paper and pen, brain dump in English, write your thoughts out in English. And if you want to record videos in your mobile phone, record videos in your camera, and just watch these videos day after day and figure out the points where you can improve. If you just do this, if you consume content in English and you also produce in English, you will see that you are drastically improving in the language of English. Because if you just keep consuming and you do not produce, there is a missing link. It's only when you produce, your mind get comfortable with English. You get thoughts in English. You get ideas in English. You imagine scenarios in the language of English. And that is why it is important that you consume and also produce in English. Now let's talk about the last step, which is put in the reps. See, if you need to grow your biceps, you need to put in the reps every day in the gym with discipline for months and months. And that is true for you getting better at speaking in English. You need to put in the reps, okay? You need to put in the reps of reading books in English. You need to put in the reps of recording more videos in English. You need to put in the reps of talking to your parents in English. And if that's too uncomfortable, you need to put in the reps of talking to unknown people in English language. Don't be afraid of people making fun of you, okay? I know it is easier said than done, but this is the only solution you have. Get out there in the social circles, start speaking in English, get your skin in the game, put in the reps, let people laugh at you, let people make fun of you for the bad vocabulary you have, let them talk about you in a bad way when you speak in a wrong grammar. But that doesn't matter because you are just putting in the reps, and the more reps you put in the real world scenarios, the better you get. You flex that muscle of speaking in English, and after a point of time, you will realize that speaking in English just comes naturally to you. You don't even have to think twice when you speak the words of English out of your mouth. That's my simple 5-step framework, and this is how I went from an underconfident, non-English speaking person to an English speaking person, recording content, posting content online from last 2 years. And I've closed deals thousands and thousands of dollars, and I worked with clients across the world only because I'm confident in speaking in English. So this is your chance. Start now, get uncomfortable, and start taking it seriously, because this might be the only link that's missing and that's keeping you away from making money as a freelancer and grabbing all the opportunities that lie around you. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you're watching me for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. And if you like content like this, you'll love my free newsletter. I send one email every week. You'll find the link in the description. Do subscribe right now so you do not miss on the valuable content. That's all for this video. I'll see you guys in my next video.